Hi everyone, welcome back to Chop's Garage. Let's update you on what's been going on. Now we have finally dug this little A1 out and got it all MOT'd and valeted. So if you remember, this has been kicking around for ages. I got it, I'll admit it, I got in a huff because I spent £4.5 grand having the DSG gearbox rebuilt. So it's one of those cars I'm never going to make money out of. So rather than do the sensible thing and just quickly get it ready and get it out of my life, I just let it sit at the back and just sulked about it. But we did in the end drag it out. Pete has given it a machine polish. So first thing we did is strip the lacquer peel off the outside edge of the wheels. We put 4 new tyres on all the way, so it's got brand new tyres all the way around. And then Pete gave it a machine polish, and we've done oil and filters on it, and it is looking absolutely stunning. I don't think I'll have any problem selling it now because, you know, well, what more can you, for a 2012 to have a rebuilt gearbox, oil and filter service, brand new MOT and new tyres all round, you're not going to get better really, are you? We're just not going to make any money out of selling it. But sometimes it's just about a case of getting the money back in the bank and reinvesting in something else that will make me a profit, isn't it? And if it was a guaranteed win on every car, everyone would do it. Sorry, car. Yeah, I mean, obviously I've said this before. So many people seem to think that it is a guaranteed win and dealers make a fortune on every car, but we do lose money on cars sometimes. That's the game we're in. We lose money on them even before they go out the door, and obviously this could have subsequent warranty claims on as well, so you'd lose money even further. So, but you've just got to man up, get out of it, get into the next car. As I said before, if that kind of thing is going to upset you, then you shouldn't get into this game. You've got to be quite philosophical about it and just move on. Anyway, so we'll get these photos done, get it advertised. And I imagine this is going to make, I would imagine this is going to be somebody's second car, I would have thought. I imagine a young person's going to have his second car. Or maybe somebody who's got a nice big flash car, wants a little run around, still wants an auto, might go for it. But yeah, it's a little stunner, isn't it? Absolute stunner. Pete's done a fantastic job on the machine polishing. I've taught him now to a point where it was very hard for me to hand over that kind of thing. I won't lie. The handover prep of cars, machine polishing, that kind of thing was really hard for me because I've always done it myself. And I know how I like it done. But no, I mean, Pete has done a cracking job on it. The interior on it was always in really nice condition. It's got 90,000 miles on it. But obviously, as I say, the biggest risk at 90,000 miles was always going to be the gearbox. And we've had that done. But the rest of the interior doesn't belie the fact it's done that kind of miles. It's all in really nice condition. Obviously, it's an S-Line, which is why it's so nice looking. But anyway, less chat, more photographing. So a little something I've started doing. I think we need to show customers the value that we put into the vehicles when we prep them. So what I've started doing is doing an invoice for them and setting it to 0. So I invoice them for the car, but then do an invoice for them for all the work we do on the car. So this is the Audi A1. We didn't need to do anything for the MOT, but we did do oil filter, air filter, fuel filter, diesel additive, service on it. And I put down all the retail rates for those parts. Obviously, we paid less for those parts, but you know, this is how much it costs if you took into a garage. Probably less than if you took it obviously into a main dealer. Adds up to £284.21. So what I do is I then put a discount of £284.81 on the invoice and send it across as a 0 value invoice. But I want people to see the level of prep. Now, sometimes when I've done this, it's come up to like £700-800 when we've had to do the MOT stuff as well. I want to prove we put those parts on there. Well, I guess it doesn't prove that, but I want to show the amount of prep we put into the car, rather than just have a line like I used to have on my invoices where it said car plus MOT and any work required for an advisory free pass and a service. It just was all wound up into the 4995 price point or something. I think doing this is worthwhile. Now I hear a lot of people now are also doing £195 admin fees when they sell the cheaper cars. People have done it traditionally quite a lot for the more expensive cars, and they've said for the 195 you will get an oil and filter service and you'll get a quarter of a tank of fuel. Now all my cars go out with a quarter of a tank of fuel anyway. They all get an oil and filter service, but I've always thrown that into the price. And I could see why, if you did say, well, you've got two choices, 195 admin fee, we'll do all of this, or you just get the car with the fresh MOT on it and the warranty, you don't get the service and you don't get a quarter of a tank of fuel. I can see as margins are being squeezed in this industry. You know, like an advert for a car costs you £100 alone, and the VAT man wants his slice and tax man does, and you've got increases in in national insurance and all that kind of stuff. You can't whack up the price of the cars because people won't buy them, because Auto Trader says it's worth X. So the only way to recoup some of your cost, if you are giving value adds, like you are going to do oil and filters and stuff like that, is probably to do something like that. I'm not planning on introducing that at the moment, but I am starting to do these invoices just so people realise what they got as part of the sale. Let me know your thoughts to that. How would you feel if you received this invoice and it was set to 0? Is that, of any value to you or not? Here's another one for a car that doesn't actually need an awful lot of work. I've just realised I put the MOT on it. The trade price should have been the retail value. But anyway, even this one, simple case of changing anti-roll bar link, changing a headlight bulb and doing oil and filter service on it is £330 worth of work. So again, I'm going to include that in the package. I think if I've got the time, I'm going to continue doing it, especially for the bigger ones. I think it'd probably help you also if you had a case later on regarding the engine or anything else, or just that if you're in court and someone's questioning does this person prep their cars correctly, if you can provide this invoices like this with every car that went out to show that you weren't trying to skip things, then that should go in your favour. So we've got some warranty work on today. We've got the 64 plate Suzuki Alto sold a few weeks back. Customers complained it's occasionally popping out of second gear. Now I have to admit I've been a little naughty on this and not done a diagnostics on it. I've just assumed straight away we've got a bad box if it's popping out of second gear. We've just had a look and the linkages all look okay, so we're assuming it's a box. So we have a refurbished gearbox here ready to go in. I did have the option of just buying the car back, but I decided to get the work done. What I've done to try and recoup some costs is, obviously we're responsible for changing the gearbox if the gearbox is bad, but I've said to the gentleman, is it worth having a new clutch installed at the same time? Would you like a new clutch in? And he's paying the sort of retailish rate for the clutch and only a tiny bit of labour, obviously with the labour for us taking the gearboxes in place already. So we're recouping a little bit of money back that way. Hopefully we've got a diagnosis right and putting this gearbox in is not a complete waste of time. The new box, the other thing is I said to him, I said, I can buy a used gearbox for you and, with a car of similar mileage, or if you wish to pay a bit more towards it, we can go for a refurbished box. 2 seconds. So gave the guy the option of either having just a used box from a car similar age and mileage, or having what this is claimed to be a refurbished box with a 12-month warranty on it. I don't know if it's just an eBay refurbishment when they just sprayed it silver or not, but it does look to have new sealant between this does all look to be new sealant here on the box. Yeah, that's all new sealant. So it does look like it's come apart. Yeah, and he opted for the refurbished one. He opted to have a new clutch, so we can pull a little bit of money back that way. And it's a benefit to the customer as well, because rather than just do it without telling them, put a cheap used box in and just put the old clutch back in again, give them the option. And at least if they said no, then everyone would know the score, wouldn't they? They'd know he was going to have the same clutch in there, and he'd know he'd have a used box that would only have the lifetime of my warranty with him, covered for the lifetime of my warranty with him, rather than this with a full year on it, if that makes sense. It's the same old, isn't it? Be honest with people, tell them the score, and a lot of time they'll be a lot more reasonable than you think they will be, and they appreciate you giving them the opportunity to do little improvements along the way if they intend on keeping the car. While Pete's been doing that, I've done a little walk around video for someone interested in the Fiat Panda. I must get in and clean all this. This is the soot from when the guy that used to keep his classics in here starting off against the wall. I'll just get around and clean that off. Yeah, done a little walk around video for someone who wants to come up from Dartmouth. I like to do walk around videos for people who are coming a good distance, make sure they're getting exactly what they expect to. I used to do them for every single car when I photographed it. We've been so busy, so time-wise, we've been short. So we've just put images up on the website of all the cars with the intention of coming back to video them later on, but they normally sell before we get around to doing the video. But anyway, I've done a very detailed video. Unfortunately, our subscriber had to pull out of buying this. We had it prepped for them, ready to go. But this chap's called up now, so we've gone around that in detail. I'll just put that together and send that over to him on WhatsApp. And before he starts heading out, and make sure that basically the other thing is if I point out all the blemishes, like I've done, like a bit of curbing on the alloys, if they intend on doing a bit of negotiation, we can finally sort of cross that bridge before they get here, and then I don't have to be in a situation where I tell them no and they have to drive all the way home because they're asking for too much off. Right, so boxes in the little Alto. I did the manhandling of it in and out. Pete did all the unbolting. We're a bit of a standstill though, because we decided that the engine mount, wherever it is, sorry, gearbox mount on this side, is too worn to reuse again. So we will get a new one, and we've got to wait for that to come in a couple of days. On this one, you have to take the inlet manifold off to get to the bolts at the back. I thought this would be like an iGo, which has got to be the easiest gearbox I've done so far. With that, you just unbolt everything and drop straight out. With this one, to get to the starter motor bolts and one of the gearbox bolts, you have to undo the intake, plastic intake at the back, which is a bit of a pain, so it's taken a little bit longer than I thought it was. We've got the old box here all ready to go. Is an exchange unit to try and recoup some money. So yeah, unfortunately a little bit of the extra money made back from charging for like the clutch and stuff like that is going to be lost in the engine mount, because I think that's about 60 quid to get a brand new one. But it's needed, and I don't really see that I can charge the customer for it, I don't suppose. So we'll have to eat that bit. Had a brilliant drive in the Firebird this weekend, and that's because I pulled a bit of a fast one, I have to admit. I lent this to a mechanic to take his son to prom. Now this is my pride and joy, I don't lend this car out. But I knew a mechanic wouldn't be able to help himself, and he'd have to fiddle with it before he took it to the prom. And lo and behold, he did. He said the steering on that thing was awful. It was just all over the place. You know, seesawing back and forth. And he said, so I had to get involved in it. He said, no, I've gone and I've tightened up some of the bushings, and he's put some, basically he's just put some, what do you call them? Mental blank. Like the big hose clamp type things around some of the bushings, tighten them right up. And it's transformed the car. Something so simple has utterly transformed the car. It's fiddled with the idle as well, so it's not idling as high, so it doesn't get as hot. And yeah, the handling. When I first got this car, I thought, don't meet your heroes. Although I absolutely love the looks of it, I thought this drives terrible. But since he's done that, I'm back in love with it again, because it does. I mean, I've been in love with it looks-wise, but driving-wise, because it actually doesn't handle that badly. I do think it's got some uprated springs or something on it, but it actually handled really, really well. And so it's a win-win. He got to take his son in exactly the car I said he wanted to go in, a muscle car, and I got a little bit of work done for free. So you can't beat that, can you? But yeah, I had some great fun driving that around. I don't know if anyone local saw me out and about, but I drove it around all weekend. It was great. Only thing is, don't take them down the pub, because you spend your entire time coming out and starting it up for people so they can hear the V8 roar. Quick shout out about the raffle on the Ford Fiesta ST. There's only 200 tickets left on that now. Only 200 tickets left, roughly that anyway. So as soon as those are sold, this is going to the lucky winner. I'll put a link in the video description down below. And remember, we're helping Torrington Food Bank with this raffle. That's the charity that will be getting some benefit from this one. There's David off in his caddy. He's just bought the Ford Fiesta from me. I think this is their fourth car from me since I've been down at Alfa Ragazzi. We sold him a Punto, I believe. Yeah, we had a Punto off us. He's had that Caddy off us. I can't remember what the third one was. What's that one? Maybe it is only three. I've got it in my head, it's four. Anyway, just bought the Ford Fiesta off me. Now, this is one I did on the video earlier. Before I even came out to see the car, I said, David, the wet belt is due on this. I said it's about a £1,200 job to have the wet belt done. I can get it done trade cheaper, but we will need to go halves on it, because there's not enough margin in cars to be paying for the wet belt service. I said I'll do a fresh MOT on it. I'll pay for the oil, I'll pay for the filters, all that good stuff, but we'll have to go halves on the wet belt itself. So I gave him a little bit more for his car than I should do. So I gave him £200 more than I should do for his car, because that is not working as it should. And then I did the wet belt for him for 500. So he's basically paying about £300. You could see it, to have the wet belt done. I give him that extra bit of discount, because like I say, he's had that many cars off me now. So that sold super quickly. Again, I didn't really get, that wasn't, none of the cars you've seen so far have been advertised on Auto Trader, I don't believe. It's more word of mouth sales again. And that's where sort of being a little bit soft on the warranties does help you, because you could say I'm too soft on some of the warranties, but you think how much I'm saving not paying £1,500 a month for an Auto Trader package to sell cars. So it does kind of pay back a little bit there. And it's always nice when someone says they wouldn't buy a car anywhere else, isn't it? You know you're doing something right.